All right, welcome to The Explainer. So today we're going to dive into a core concept of PvP healing in Elder Scrolls Online that honestly feels completely backward at first, but is absolutely the key to success.
Okay, so let's just jump right in with a super simple question. If you're playing a healer, what do you think your number one job is?
Well, the obvious answer, right? It's to heal. I mean, your whole value is measured in those big green numbers popping up, keeping everyone's health bars topped off. And maybe, just maybe, seeing your name at the top of the Healing Done leaderboard.
But is it really? In the absolute chaos of PvP, is pumping out the biggest heals truly the most important thing you can do? Well, as it turns out, the answer is probably not what you think.
So let's start with what everyone thinks the healer's goal is. You know, the conventional wisdom that most of us build our characters from. And look, the data kind of backs this up, at least at first glance. You can see here that players are all in on Healing Done. And for good reason. If you're running a bunch of heal over time abilities, stacking Healing Done is, without a doubt, the best way to get those massive, juicy green numbers.
Okay, but here's where things get messy. We're talking about the incredible pressure of PvP, where theory just goes right out the window.
See, in PvP, you're not healing some predictable boss mechanic. No way. You're facing down coordinated ultimate dumps, insane burst damage that can literally delete a player from the map before a single one of your heal overtime ticks can even go off.
And this probably feels familiar, right? You're doing everything you're supposed to do. Your healing numbers are massive, but your team is still dropping like flies. You get focused, you get silenced, you get pulled into a negate. You're just overwhelmed because you're trying to stay close enough to heal, but that just makes you a bigger target.
So if just pumping out heals isn't the answer, what is? This is where we get to the core of it all, why blocking really does beat healing. And here it is, the big reveal. The most powerful, game-changing healing you can possibly do is preventing damage from ever happening in the first place. It all comes down to mitigation, and that starts with you staying alive. Now, what's the number one best tool for that in the entire game? It's not some flashy healing spell, it's just blocking. But not just any blocking. We're talking about blocking with a sword and shield. Honestly, it's not even close. And this chart just lays it all out crystal clear. Look at the sword and shield block. It costs less stamina, it eats way more damage, you can move faster while doing it, and it even cuts down on projectile damage. For pure survival, it's just better in almost every single way. 36%. I mean, just look at that number. That's how much cheaper it is to block with a sword and shield just from the passives. That's before you even think about putting on gear with the sturdy trait. It's a massive, massive discount that makes blocking so much more sustainable. So what does this all mean? Well, it leads us to a whole new identity, the tank healer role. Yeah, let's just say it outright. The best healer is a tank healer. This completely flips the script on what you're trying to do. You're not a healer anymore. You're a tank who also happens to heal. Your survival is what makes your team's survival possible. So your new job description, you're an unkillable anchor. You're supposed to draw all that pressure. Just sit there and block it and survive. By doing that, you're literally stopping that damage from ever touching your squishier teammates. You become this problem that the enemy just can't figure out how to solve. Okay, to really hammer this point home, let's look at a case study of what happens when you can't do this. Let's talk about what we're calling the Templar problem. Now look, the Templar's healing kit is powerful, there's no doubt about it, but so many of its best abilities assume one thing, that you're going to be standing still, and in fast-paced PvP, that is the absolute worst assumption you can possibly make. Standing still gets you killed, period. Think about it. When you pop that big, channeled healing ultimate, you can't block. And every single good player on the enemy team knows this. The second they see it, you become target number one. They will dump everything on you. And that right there is why being proactive, blocking, moving is always, always better than just reacting with heals. All right, so how do we actually do this? Let's talk about building for survival. So these are the kinds of numbers you want to be aiming for when you're all buffed up. And notice what's going on here. Yeah, the health is high, but look at that stamina pool. We're talking 18, 20,000 plus. That's your block bar. That's your dodge roll bar. Stamina isn't just for the damage dealers anymore. For you, it's a second health bar. So the takeaway for your build should be crystal clear. You need to prioritize your own survival over everything else. That means heavy armor for those resistances. It means getting the sturdy trait on your gear to make blocking even cheaper. And it absolutely means having a sword and shield on your back bar. No exceptions. That's the toolkit of a true tank healer.
So the next time you jump into the character builder for your healer, I want you to ask yourself this one question. Are you building a target, someone who just pumps out big green numbers for a few seconds before getting vaporized? Or are you building a fortress, an indestructible anchor that lets your team win simply because you refuse to die? The choice, as they say, is yours.